A couple years ago, I made this artificial daylight panel out of an old flat screen TV. Basically, you just take it apart, you take everything out, you put LED strips in, you put it back together. It's super easy. Definitely not an original idea. You see this all over YouTube. And I did it. It was fun. It was cool. It was a light. It was cool. It was a light. It stopped working quite a while ago, if I'm being honest. And it's about time we take it apart. We see why it's not working. We see if we can fix it. And we get this thing back in action because it is pretty cool, if I'm being honest. But we're going to have to do some cleanup. So let's do that real quick and we'll get to it. Alright, so I've got about 1 billion screws to take out of this thing. While I do that, I would just like to say, hey, thanks for being here. If you've made it a minute and, 20-ish seconds into this video, I think we might be friends. And real friends support each other by watching this YouTube video. So, thank you, friend. Jokes aside, I appreciate you for watching. If you're watching, if you've made it this far, why not stick around the rest of the way? I'm going to be popping in and out, dropping little nugs of wisdom whenever they may apply to what's going on. But other than that, just enjoy the ride. So I'm getting this thing fully taken apart, and as you can see, it's just a bunch of LED strips that are wired together. Now what I need to figure out is, hey, why aren't these things lighting up? So we need to run a couple tests and figure out what's going on. So I'm going to strip some leads and get ready to go. First thing we're checking here is continuity, basically just making sure that electricity can flow all the way through on the positive or red conductor and the negative or black conductor. That beep means we can do it, so check that one off the list. Now, this is really what I should have done first, and that's check for voltage from my power supply. I need 24 volts and I'm getting 0.2, that's never gonna work. So I'm gonna cut the head off this connector here, and let's just see, who knows, maybe the connector's bad, it's happened before. Strip these leads, hit it with the meter, and there you go, 0.2 volts again. So it wasn't the connector, it's the power supply, there's something wrong in here. I quickly realized this thing is beyond my skill to heal, if you will. So what we're gonna do instead is take these two 12-volt power supplies and wire them up in series so we can get 24 volts between the two of them and send them to the lights, see if they turn on. Because again, that's all we're trying to figure out right now. We'll take care of a real cord later, but for now, we just need to get 24 to these bad boys, see if they light up. And there you have it, 24 volts lights them up. So what I need to do now is get another 24 volt power supply because I do not have one. The easiest place to get one happens to be another box of LED lights. So I got another box. These ones actually have colors. So I decided, hey, I'm actually gonna stick these on here and just add to the light. Who doesn't like more light, right? That's ultimately what this project turned into. Adding these new colorful lights into this artificial daylight panel and just making it that much cooler. So because these lights are for outdoors, they have this silicone jacket around them. So I'm getting all that off, and then I'm gonna hot glue them down and burn my fingertips off. Basically, the rest of this video is me just burning my fingertips off. So I'm blowing off some steam real quick, and I'm ready to burn. So now that we're all glued into place, it's finally time to start wiring everything up. First, what I need to do, just figure out where I'm getting power from so I can jump the power from the new lights into the old lights, and instead of having two power cords hanging out, I'll just have the one. We are finally all wired up. We got colors all the way through. We got the old lights. We got the new lights. We can finally start putting everything back together. So we're going to clean things up, and then we're going to have to make some space here. A couple of the parts aren't going to fit because I've got some new stuff in the way. So let's figure out what we got to change. Let's change it. Let's get it back together. Let's go home. So this is, in my opinion, the absolute coolest part about this whole entire thing. This layer here is just like the coolest thing I've ever seen. I just love light, and I love playing around with it, and I love warping it and making it look all distorted and like photoshopped and stuff, even though it's totally practical and totally real. I really wanted to just keep it like this. Just this super flimsy, cool looking layer and nothing else, but unfortunately it is too flimsy and it needs the diffusion layer behind it to act as a support and keep it in place. Just a little bit of a tune-up here before we seal everything for good. Gotta make sure everything's working, do one last little test, and then let's close it up. We got some modifications to make, like I said, but we're gonna knock those out, and we're almost done. We're in the home stretch here. So I made a little mistake here. I did not pay attention to the order these parts had to go in. And as you'll see here, I have to take everything back apart and swap which piece of angled aluminum is on top of which. Do a little switcheroo just like that. Now the screw holes line up properly and I can put everything back together. Just one of those classic reminders to mark your stuff as you're taking it apart, so you know what goes back where. Got to do a little bit of softening around the edges here, so to speak. We're going to knock these screws off and then sand them down so that they're flat and they're not going to be scraping or cutting or doing any damage to anything this is leaned against. Folks, we're getting real close to the end here. I want to say thanks. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for clicking on this to begin with. I'm going to be back with more. Stay tuned if you want to see it. Let's check out what we got here. Let's see the final product. Overall, I think this looks really cool. It's a lot of fun. It doesn't flash like that in real life. That's just the camera picking that up. It's really fun in the dark. I think it puts off a lot of cool colors. And overall, this was like a really fun and really challenging project. The fun was had during the filming. The challenging part for me was making my first YouTube video, but we made it. Thank you very much. I will see you next time.